I've got a guide for you on how to be the best production assistant you could possibly be. Now, of course, this isn't a comprehensive list. I'm not the best PA ever, but this is tips and tricks that I learned during my time PAing. I have since moved on. As many of you know, I work in the grip and electric department when I work in film. But I did do PAing for a little bit and learned some good things, and now looking back, have some advice for anybody that's trying to get into PA work, and figured I'd make this video. One of the biggest things that I was worried about going in was I'm not gonna know everything that there is, and if somebody asks me to do something, I'm not gonna know what to do. And honestly, that was a fair assumption, but don't worry. You're not expected to know everything. You are expected to know some things, and those things I'll go over in this video, but you're not expected to know everything, and it's okay to not know everything. If somebody asks you to do something that you don't know how to do, ask them how to do it. And if they don't have the time, then let them know, hey, I'm sorry, I am not trained on doing this. I don't know what you're saying. Ask for clarification, and anybody that's a good boss will take the time to at least explain something to you, if not show you the whole thing. My first big tip, though, would be to show up early. I've covered this in other videos, but if you show up late or even right on time as a PA, in a lot of bigger productions, the producer or the AD or whoever is above you will probably get mad at you. You want to show up 15 to 20 minutes before your call time. Speaking of call times, that leads me into my next point. Read the call sheet. Call sheet is a piece of paper that an AD will send out the night before, usually the shoot, and it will be giving you all the details for the next day. If you're on a multi-day shoot, multiple call sheets will be sent out, each in the evening before the day that the call sheet is relevant to. But make sure you read it, and read it well. If you don't know how to read it, I would recommend looking up some examples of it. They're pretty simple. The main thing that you will want to check is your specific call time. There will be a general crew call. A lot of times PAs will have a crew call that is an hour before, though, so make sure you look for your name, and then there will be a little icon next to your name that will also have a time that you will need to show up on set. Also, carry extra call sheets with you on set. If there's ever a crew member who just doesn't have a call sheet and they ask you for one, it's always helpful to have one in your pocket that you can hand to them, because a lot of crew members are just not going to check out the call sheet as much, and they might need some information, and that's okay. That's what you're there for. The next tip is know walkie lingo. This is a very, very broad topic, but walkie lingo is very different in the film and television industry than in any other industry, with a few exceptions. I could make an entire video about walkie lingo, but the ones that you will need to probably know the most is flying in, 10-1, 10-2, and 86. Flying in just means that you are moving towards wherever you are mentioning. You say, I'm flying in. If somebody asks, Will, can you come check out this thing at base camp? You can say, yes, I'm flying in. Or, does anybody have eyes on so-and-so actor? Yes, he's flying in right now. 10-1 and 10-2 are bathroom number 1 and number 2, respectively. Not much more to be said there. And then 86ing something is essentially not doing something anymore. And this also bleeds over, I believe, into the restaurant industry. If you 86 something, then don't do that. If somebody says, 86 the C-stand, then don't bring them the C-stand anymore, even if they asked you to beforehand. Also, when you're addressing people, you want to say your name and then to their name. So if I was addressing, say, John, I would say Will to John. And then if John was available, he'd get on the walkie and say, go for John. This just makes it a lot easier to understand who's talking to who and doesn't clutter up the walkies. Next tip, know your department head and all department heads by face and name. This will take a day or two if you're on a longer shoot, but try and get department heads' faces and names as quickly as possible to know who's above you and who is somebody that you need to be listening to. You will directly report to the producer and the AD. Specifically, the first AD is your number one boss. If the first AD tells you to do something, then pretty much nobody else can trump that, except for, I guess, the director, but the director rarely interacts with PAs. So you'll have the first assistant director, who is your main boss, and then you will have the producer, and any of the other ADs can pretty much tell you what to do. Other department heads occasionally will ask you to come do something, and that's okay. If you're not doing anything else, then that's okay to go report to them. You might want to double check with the AD just to make sure that the AD doesn't have something for you to do. But generally, it's okay to go help out a department head if you're not doing anything else. The last point is acknowledge when somebody is talking to you and repeat back the instructions that they've given. This will create a sense of confidence for the people above you, and it's great for communication. The film industry is all about communication. If you're not communicating well, you're not really going to succeed very much in the industry. So make sure that you are listening and that you show you are listening to the people above you, and really your peers as well, but especially the people above you. Anyways, that is my guide to being a PA. Those are just a few tips and a few tricks, but of course it's a much more comprehensive thing than that. If you're about to go into a job, don't sweat it. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna do great. Just remember that communication is key, and maybe look up a video on Walkie Lingo. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. See y'all later.